believe, Jeff? Why don't you tell people that? How it is that we didn't really even know, like 10,000 years ago, you don't even know what people were worshiping. You have no clue. And especially depending on region and demographic, you especially have no clue. So what happens here is that the few remnants which have remained after the burning of the library at Alexandria, there's not that much. Okay, there's not that much. No, not by Christians. Yes, okay, so listen, after the burning of the library at Alexandria, there's not much. Okay, there was not much left as far as the barbarian records. Now, we don't even know how much was actually we don't even know how much was actually there. This is all speculation. So, like, for instance, if I asked you, what did they worship in ancient China 9,500 years ago in, the Zun province? You couldn't tell me that shit because we don't know, Jeff.
I don't care. I'm not from there. But it's funny that the Library of Alexandria contained all of the great records of all of the great pagan civilizations. And right after they freaking killed Hypatia like a bunch of animals, then they went and burned down the library. What a coincidence. They burned down the library of all our stuff. And now you say we're not around anymore because you killed us. And those atrocities you talk about, they were written by Christian people about our people. And they're not only lies, but damn lies.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff. So the thing is like, this is great speculation, but you don't have the requisite knowledge to make these bold claims about which gods people should even go back to, because we don't really know that much. In fact, the Bible is one of the better sources for how pagans used to worship. That's a pretty good source for that. You know what's
so
not
our
great?
Enemies give a good source.
It's not. Well, it's better. What are your sources, Jeff? Like ancient fragments that you're speculating on, like the oldest thing you can, the oldest thing you have. We don't even know what the pyramids were. We don't even know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, Andrew, I think we can agree that they weren't as dumb. Like, in modern day, they want to say that civilizations before us were just idiots and, lived out in a cave. I think they were a little more advanced than we give them credit for.
Andrew just asked me, how do I know?
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, here's the big difference between me and you, Andrew, I think. You believe in revelatory knowledge, church tradition of the fathers. Why you call people father when Jesus said, don't call anybody on earth your father. But we don't believe in revelational knowledge. We believe our gods are way bigger than a book. We don't listen to men in dresses to tell us what to believe. We look into our own hearts. We look into our own souls. We listen for the call of the blood. And we get our gods.
You listen to the call of the blood, Jeff?
Okay, well, let him finish.
Andrew Wilson completely demolishes Jeffrey Doherty in a debate about Christianity.
Okay, I think we really need to get back to that because that's very, very important. I would like to know the Bible texts that refute Romans 10:9 and 10. But,
we can get it.
It's not a refutation. What I'm saying is that you're missing on the key points of synergy. Like you do this with Paul too. You say, well, Paul, you said this to a girl in a 2016 interview. You were like, Paul was basically telling women to go make him a sandwich, right? Like, shut up and go make it. Okay, well then so was Peter, because Peter affirms everything Paul said about submission to your husband. So the thing is like Paul did not come and change the continuity of the Bible. Peter reinforces exactly what Paul is saying. So like you just omit that. And
no,
so
I agree with you.
What I'm saying to you, well, you didn't agree then. So what I'm saying to you, yeah, you do now. So what I'm saying to you is that these referent points that you have, you're missing out on these keys, which is if you can point to Romans and say, here's what I think it means. But absent
not what I think it means. That's what the text says.
Absent the rest of what the teachings of Jesus Christ and the apostles were, you don't get a clear picture. That's not how it works, man. First of all, the Bible's a liturgical book. It's not even made for the layman. It's good for the layman to read it. Really? Yeah, it's good for the layman to read it.
Why does your church say they shouldn't read it without the commentaries of your...
They don't.
They do.
They don't. They tell you to read your Bible all the time. In fact, the Eastern Orthodox Church, you do more Bible reading than you do inside of a Protestant church. Ask me how I know that, Jeff? They tell you to read it all the time. They explain to you all the time. And the reason that they do say, look at footnotes from like the Eastern Orthodox Study Bible, things like this, or talk to priests, is because they can give you something very valuable, which you're not giving people: context. contextualization, the understanding of apostolic succession, how these things have been divinated out over 2,000 years. This is a complex, very complex formula. It's not like just as easy as I have a mind state, therefore saved.
Well, you have a right to your beliefs. You have a right to your opinions. But I don't care if people are Christian or not. I do care, but I'm not here to try to change anybody's faith. That's their right. But I think they deserve to have all the information. And when you say that Romans 10, 9, and 10, if you follow Romans 10, 9, and 10, and it doesn't give you salvation, I think that's what will surprise a lot of people. And I think that the burden is on you to find a text from the Bible to prove that. And then you go back to women. I'm in complete agreement with you. The Bible's horribly misogynistic. Paul was misogynistic. Peter was misogynistic, 100%. And I don't understand why ladies that read that will still go in and give their money. I was an evangelist for 20 years. I traveled church to church to church. And every single church I was in, at least 60, 70% women, at least 67, 70% women giving the money. And why do you ladies stay in the church when they think this way about you?
Okay.
Well, this is Romans 10, 9, 10. It says, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord. Yeah, and that's
and here's all the Bible text about works. You can find it in Proverbs 3:27, Ecclesiastes 9:10, Ecclesiastes 12:14, Matthew 5:14, 6 through 16.
Are there contradictions in the Bible?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Matthew, I didn't interrupt you. I let you go through your whole spiel.
About turns.
Matthew 25:40, 2 Corinthians, Galatians 6, 9, 10, Ephesians 2:10. The list goes on and on and on, where it's discussing how your works do affect your salvation. Now, this also makes logical sense, because how could you affirm faith absent works? You can't even do it. It makes no sense. When you talk about in Protestantism, you say, well, there's a lot of women in Protestant. That's true. In fact, it's like a 60-40 split. So 60% of Protestant churches are filled with women to 40% men. Same thing with Roman Catholicism. Not the case with Eastern Orthodoxy. Not the case. It's reverse. It's the one church that is reverse, right? It allows you to retain masculinity inside the church. I agree with you that feminists have subverted Protestant church. It was not always this way. This is a recent development. Feminists have subverted. They even wrote the women's Bible, where they tried to take the miracles away from any of the good works of men away from the men. The feminist Bible is a real thing. You can look it up. I'm not kidding about this. Just so that you understand, these are not. You're looking at this through the fallacy of modernism. It's literally a fallacious.
What I'm thinking.
No. I'm giving you a logical fallacy. It's the fallacy of modernism. So when you say, I don't know how women can look at this and not think of these people as a bunch of evil misogynists, this and that. But what was in there that was misogynistic? That wives need to submit to their husbands, but that they were taken care of literally by their husbands in exchange for that submission, that you shouldn't just arbitrarily get a divorce. Jeff, do you think that's worked out well for society when you got 55% of people divorcing, where just 60 years ago, we didn't have that? This is what I'm saying, man. It's like, it makes no sense.
You're asking a lot of questions and I don't get a chance.
Real quick, I want to clarify, Jeff, you probably do think women should submit to their husbands though, right, Jeff? Or you don't think that?
No, I don't think that. I think it should be an equal partnership. And the point you asked, what is it in the Bible that's bad? Well, when you say that a woman should shut her damn mouth in church and that it's wrong for a woman to have authority over a man, and you also say in the Bible that if women don't cover their heads, they're going to be raped by angels. When you are saying these things, you're being terribly abusive of women. And I ask the question, why do ladies put up with that when they don't have to?
Because unlike you, Jeff, some people can apply logic. And the thing is that there's nothing illogical about telling women to cover up in church so that people can focus on what is going on at church rather than focusing on their bodies or having to deal with lustful feelings, this type of thing. Which
so it's the ladies' fault.
You can pretend. No, it's not the fault. This is not a fault. This is a thing which is built into human beings. If you see a hot chick, it can be very distracting. And so what you're doing is you're creating an elimination of distraction. It's not the fault of women, but it's not the fault of men. It's basic ontological hardwiring, right? Men want to stick the PP in the V, right? Pretty simple. The thing is like The controlling lust is one of the tenets of Christian ethics. And so, of course, inside of church, they tell men also to dress modesty. Men aren't allowed to go in all buff with tank tops on and big muscles hanging out everywhere and be distracting, right? Because that could create distraction. Some churches, women can dress like harlots too. What's your point?
That's true.
Those aren't real churches. What I'm saying to you, hang on, Jeff, I'm almost done. What I'm saying to you is that just like with men aren't allowed to go in and be distracting to women who are practicing the faith. Women aren't allowed to do it either. The guidelines are completely, from your view, would be egalitarianism. Neither of you can do this. Neither one of you.
And I agree. And
boom. I mean, that is absolutely 100% correct. And that's what these, whoever this guy is, don't understand about this whole Christianity. They just think, oh, telling a woman what to wear, well, that's bad. When it's like, well, no, both men and women should dress modestly. It's not just, oh, yes, we're just telling women what to do.
But again, you're putting words in my mouth is the way I hear, because I'm not saying, I didn't talk anything about how women dress in church. I talked about you telling them they can't speak in church.
Yeah.
I talked about, let me finish, please. I talked about you telling them that they have to be staying at home. I talked about you telling them that they can't, I'm talking about the Bible, that they can't have any authority over men. I'm talking about Paul saying that it wasn't the man that sinned, it was the woman. These are the things I'm talking about, not the silliness.
Okay.
I've been in Pentecostal. Let me finish. I've been in Pentecostal churches, and it's so stupid. The skirt's too high, the hair's too low. I agree with you. No, we're talking about taking away, treating women like they're not, like they're second-class citizens. I think that's wrong. I don't know why ladies put up with it.
Okay, well, let's dive into this. First of all, when you're discussing this, you say, well, I don't understand. Women are second-class. They're not treated as second-class citizens. They're treated according to the ontological nature of which women have, and the same with men. Men have a requirement and duty in society to sacrifice. You know how they do that, Jeff? They go die in foreign wars. They get blown to smithereens. They fight on the front lines. Women can't do any of that. Women can't really do law enforcement roles. Women can't really do the role of taking care of prison inmates en masse. Men have to make all of those duties and all those sacrifices. So you know what, Jeff? They get the big fucking piece of chicken, Jeff. That's how it works. They get the big piece of chicken because they do the lion's share of the things that make you die. So they get that's not women being second-class citizens. That's men being second-class citizens, Jeff. It's us adhering to our duties to women. It's just that you give women an out and say you have no duty. Biblically, this is what is found actually in Christianity, that men have a higher duty and that we should not fall susceptible to women, much like Adam did to Eve. We have a higher duty to women, and that what we do is we protect women from themselves and we protect them from evil men. We do both of those things. Women are incapable of doing either of those things by your own admission.
Whose own admission?
Yours. You just said women can't do any of these things. You can't fight on the front line. They can't be the cops. They can't do these things.
I said it's best for women not to be in combat, to be cops. If I'm in a burning fire, I want Alex Stein, a big strapping man, pulling me out. I don't want a girl come pulling me out.
Yeah.
All I said, and again, you're trying to twist my words, was it is wrong, in my opinion, and I don't know why ladies go to places and give money that say you can't talk, you can't work, you can't have authority, and you are supposed to be in the kitchen, barefoot, pregnant, and making a sandwich.
Well, just like he just said, that's his own opinion. That's his interpretation. He just interprets it as, oh, yeah, we're just telling women they should just stay in the kitchen, make me sandwiches all day. And that's all these people's interpretation. Oh, it just sounds misogynistic. It just sounds like it's hateful toward women or it's oppressive toward women. It just sounds bad. It doesn't feel nice.
None of that's ever said anywhere in the Bible. You're just straw manning it. Completely straw manning it.
I can show you exactly where it's
Show me.
Bible.
Show me where it says women are to be barefoot in the kitchen, pregnant in the Bible, anywhere. Lying Jeff.
Really? Okay, so we're going to go that. You're going to do that.
Well, the thing is like, just if you're going to say, if you're going to make this claim, you're going to be like, what's really going on here is they want you pregnant in the kitchen, barefoot, making a sandwich. That is not biblical ethics. Has nothing to do with biblical ethics. All biblical ethics is trying to show you is that due to the ontology, the distinct being difference between men and women, the natural roles which men gravitate towards versus women are going to be set in a patriarchal sense always, no matter what. And it's because men are in the position to do things women cannot do. And the reverse is not true other than what? Pregnancy. And what has the Bible said? say through childbirth, that's how women are saved. That's one of the big paths to salvation for women is through childbirth. So
what are they
saved
saved from, Andrew?
What there's it's a leading to Jesus Christ for the remission of sin.
And that's for being pregnant.
No, it's not the being pregnant that does that. It's the being pregnant is a natural occurrence that leads you to the belief of a higher like authority, higher power, something. There, all it's saying is this is a good way to start you on the path towards the belief in Jesus Christ. That's what it means. And so when you follow these footsteps, when you're talking about ontology, men's being, women's being. Like you said, you want a man to pull you out of a fire. Why? Because you know a general rule, which is that men generally are a lot stronger than women. And so if you have to take the gamble, you want a man to come in and pull your ass out. Yeah, so they exchange for that in societies. Men get the big piece of chicken. You can't give them the duty absent the responsibility. That doesn't make women second-class citizens, Jeff.
Does the Bible say that women have to shut up in church? Yes or no?
Yeah, they have to be silent in church. Okay. But hang on, what's the qualifier? What's the qualifier? The qualifier is if you want correction, talk and speak to your husband, right?
Ask him at home.
And ask your husband about it. The husband, who's then the head of the household, will discuss it with you. They can then go to clergy and say, hey, there's a problem, there's an issue, this and that. Why? Well, because it's unbecoming for women to be in spaces with men by themselves. Even now, you could easily make the argument that it's actually dangerous for women to approach in a vulnerable sense many men who are in positions of authority, absent their protector, in this case, their husband. That makes complete sense, Jeff.
I just asked you a yes or no question, and I got a 4-minute answer.
I gave you a yes with a qualifier. So yes, and then I qualified the yes with the explanation.
The Bible does say that women should shut up in church, yes?
It says that a woman should be silent, right? And if she wants to clarification or correction to go to her husband. So no, it says be silent. Yes, it tells them that they must be silent in church. So yes, and then the qualifier of why that is. What's wrong with that?
It said ask your husband at home.
Yeah, ask your husband at
church.
Home.
Yes.
Well, now we're talking about the ethics of the religion, though. Whether it's okay for women to have to be quiet in church.
It matters because these are the things in which he considers to be truth claims of oppression, things like this. It does matter.
Nobody said anything about oppression.
I would like to try to talk about.
Well, what do you mean no one said anything about oppression? But this is exactly the perspective that you're coming from. Like, obviously, you see all this as oppression, and which is why you have an issue with it, which is why you're bringing these things up and making these claims that, oh yeah, the Bible says that women need to stay home in the kitchen and blah, 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 which it doesn't say. This is the perspective that this dude is coming from. And now he's sitting here and saying, oh, I never claimed that. It's like, yeah, maybe you never outright stated it, but you're definitely coming at this from this perspective.
It's oppressive to women.
No, I didn't. You said that.
Multiple times.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Alex, am I crazy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that it's oppressive to women.
You know, well, Alex, I thought this was a discussion, not a discourse from Andrew.
No, but Andrew has been talking a lot, but I'm saying I do think that we're getting a little off the rails. But yes, Jeff was both. You guys kind of both agreed because Andrew agreed and said there's a caveat that yes, they can't talk. And then you agreed that women are stronger and they have different roles. So we're kind of just at a standstill on whether you agree that the faith is nice to women or Andrew says that So that's not really debating Christianity. I would like to talk more about the origins of Christianity and Constantine and the books of the Bible. I don't know, something a little more, not just how we feel about Christianity, whether it's wrong or good or bad, or whether he believes in a religion that you consider bad, because I consider Christianity good, but that's not important. What I'm saying is, well, how can we prove that Christianity is true and real, that Christ existed?
I think that one of the primary claims needs to revolve around Jesus Christ and the existence of Jesus. This seems to be one of the pinnacle. This seems to be one of the pinnacle claims that Jeff makes, and I'm fine diving into this. I have no problem with that, but just understand that if then this happens in all debates. If there's tangential complaints which happen, and in this case there is one, the Bible is oppressive or this or that, or there's other claims that Jeff has made about this, then yeah, if it's tangential to it but related to it, they're going to get brought up likely. So yes, I'm happy to dive into Jeff. Why don't you tell the audience, right, what most biblical scholars' consensus is on if Jesus Christ was a living person or not?
Well, I'm not here to take orders from you, Andrew.
That's true.
To get
That
back to where Alex was saying, let's talk about Christianity.
Okay.
I'm just trying to keep score. So you're saying, if I understand correctly, that faith in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, according to Romans 10:9 and 10, in your view, is not sufficient for salvation. Yes.
Yeah, I don't make the Eastern Orthodox don't make salvific claims. What I'm telling you is that the faith itself, right, is not saying the determination of a simple mind state. The way you're framing it, I would say, is false.
Okay.
That it is not a mind state itself. No.
Okay. So let's talk about Christianity. Is it true that you would believe that outside of your church there is no salvation?
No, I just got done telling you our church does not make salvific claims. So the way that we would view this, right? Again, I'm not a speaker for
call people fake Christians.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'll explain. Okay. There are some people who can be so over the top about the things that they believe that it is obvious. It's just obvious to the beholder, regardless of denomination, regardless of anything, that they're not actually Christians. I don't even think that that's in dispute here. However, when we were talking about the Eastern Orthodox view of it, and again, I'm a layman, right? I don't have the authority of the church to teach, and I'm just giving you my understanding. Okay. From the layman's understanding, from my understanding, we're not to make salvific claims. The reason we're not to make salvific claims is because we don't know the mind of God. We're not going to be arrogant enough to know the mind of God. The way that the church explained it to me and the way that it explains it to, as far as I know, to everybody is that you can, some people have the truth. The truth is written on their heart, right? But you can't get the fullness of the truth absent the Orthodox Church. It's not to say people outside the Orthodox Church cannot receive salvation. We can't make those claims. Just to say that absent the fullness, the likelihood of it decreases.
Well, can you explain to me then why in the Jerusalem Council of 1672, they clearly stated that it is impossible to be saved outside of the Orthodox Church?
Yeah. So the thing is like, it depends on when you're talking about these councils. Okay. And I'm not an expert on every single council which has ever occurred. Okay.
There's only 7 of them.
I'm not a bit. Yeah. That's a lot, dude. Okay. First of all, that's a lot. And second of all, I'm not a scholar on each and every individual decree or things like that. For things like that, you'd want a person who was more of a scholar like Jay Dyer to dive in to the hyper.
Jay Dyer's been running hang on, bro.
Just chill out. For the hyper,
I'm here, Jay Dyer. Come
for the hyper specificity, right, of the claims of the various councils. There's other people who would be better at addressing those than myself.
Andrew, I think you're being dishonest. I think you know damn good and well that your church believes that you can't get saved unless you belong to your church. I think you know it and you won't say it.
Well, I think Andrew's being honest. That,
listen, man.
They don't make
listen,
yeah, I mean,
nobody would be happier to tell you, Jeff, that you're going straight to hell right this second than me. I would love to do that.
No, the thing I love about your church,
you don't hate him that much, Andrew.
Time
out. You don't want him to go to hell. You know.
Well, I don't mind their hell. Their hell just says that you'll be separated from God, and there's nothing I'd love more than separation from the Bible God, Alex Stein. I'd love it. But my
you are going to hell.
If you're
loving nothing more than being separated from God, the Bible God, that's such a weird thing to say.
I want to address this.
Let me ask this one thing, Alex.
Well,
quick thing.
Let him ask. Let him ask.
Okay, all right.
Andrew brought up hell.
Yeah.
And in the Eastern Orthodox definition of hell is separation from God.
Yeah. It's separation from the energies of God.
How can you be separated from an omnipresent God?
What do you mean?
Well, there could be a zone of that.
How can you be separated by an omnipresent God?
Do you understand that there's an energy and essence distinction? So now,
I feel like Jeff, now we're getting in the woods.
I'm trying to explain it to you. I'll explain it to you.
Well, I'm on your side, Andrew. I think even if you're omnipresent, there can be a region that you don't go to maybe on purpose. He chooses not. I mean, I don't know what Andrew's
the person chooses. The person is choosing to separate themselves from the energies of God. The person is.
Okay.
Well,
I can take that.
But Jeff, I want to go to this point because this was a pretty bold statement, and you kind of, just nobody really gave any rebuttal. Andrew, you accused Jeffrey of being anti-Christian because he's anti-Semitic, and you didn't say it in that terms, but you did.
Hold up, real quick. I thought we were supposed to be talking. This section of the debate was supposed to be talking about whether God was real or not, and proof that God exists, and they were going to talk about the existence of Jesus, and this dude totally just brushed it off, and then just went into the whole salvation thing. So wait a minute. I want to see them debate about the whole, does God exist or not?
Insinuate that. So are you, Jeff?
I mean, look, I'm not here. Listen. I'm not here to be like, to get off into the like Duisburg territory.
Yeah, I don't want to because we can't.
But
you said it. You threw
what
it
I've
out
noted. What I've noted
you
is that
you make a claim against me. Now you want
what I've noted. I'm not backing away. Yeah, I'm not going to.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, Jeff. Look, you know we're on YouTube.
I'm not backing away from it, Jeff.
Careful, Jeff.
Sounds like you are.
I'm just trying to keep it TOS. Drop it to Rumble. Tell you exactly what I think.
That's what I'm saying, Jeff. You know we have to be kind of cool.
The thing is like here, I'll make it super easy for you, Jeff. Okay. I think that the reason that you hate Christianity is because, like Adam Green, you believe it's a Jewish conspiracy in order to oppress white people.
In other words, I don't
hang on, bro. Can I finish?
Well,
you just said, Andrew, you got to back away from the claim. You want to let me make the claim.
I don't hate
you need to take over. You're going to be able to talk after this because Jeff, you keep asking questions. That's why Andrew's talking so much. So, maybe less questions and more of your opinion. But Andrew, please state what you want to state.
Yeah, I'm literally giving you your chance for cross-examination. You cut me off every time I try to start to give you the answer. So I think,
Andrew, let's both not
right there. You did cut him off again.
How about that? How many times did it cut me off?
Well, I know, but I don't want to have to mute, guys. Let's just
I won't do it anymore.
We don't have much time left. We only
all
have
right, deal. We just won't cut each other off for the rest of the debate. How about that? All right. So anyway, back to this. I'll just tell you what I think based on what I've watched of even your recent content, even going back just 4 months ago to your top 10 reasons I don't believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. You outline in that there is a Jewish conspiracy. The Jewish conspiracy is designed specifically to eradicate white people. That is what you believe.
No, it's not what I believe.
Okay, well then, can you explain what you meant when you say white meat, and these people are trying to completely destroy white meat? And then I can give you the timestamp. In fact,
no, you didn't listen very accurately.
I'm going to give you the timestamps. Hang on, let me give you the timestamp.
You didn't listen well, Andrew.
43-minute mark. Thank God we saved the white race, says Jeff Doherty. Okay, 43-minute mark of your top 10 reasons why. You don't like Christianity. I made sure to mark this, Jeff. 43 minutes. Anybody can go look. Thank God we saved the white race, says Jeff. And Jeff says, thank God for us because we saved it. And thank God for some of our collaborators because we saved it. You literally thank yourself for saving the white race, Jeff. I don't know how you walk away from that one.
I appreciate you, Jeff, for saving us. Thank you.
Number one, that's not what I said. And what I said was that I'm white. I don't know if you notice. I love my race. And I don't know if you notice, Coke is saying be less white. DEI's crushing white people. You can't get hired as a firefighter if you're white. I don't have to go into this. I love my race. I love the white race. I'm here to optimize my race. I also love the black race, the brown race, the yellow race, the red race. I don't think Christianity is a religion for any of those people. And I'm encouraging people to go back to their indigenous gods and to walk away from the Judeo-Christian God, because he's not the God of the white man, the black man, the brown man, the yellow man, or the red man. And if my work can help some people realize that, then all of the individual races can be optimized, which will optimize the whole human race.
This is great. I'm glad to get into this.
That sounds a lot like lefty racism, like how lefties want segregation back. But because they want all black people to have their own voices, but it's like, well, that's basically just segregation. You're just bringing it back, except in favor of minorities instead of being against minorities. It kind of sounds like the same thing. Like, oh, all you minorities go back into your indigenous religions and leave our Christianity out of this. It kind of sounds like the same thing.
So the idea here of all of Western and Eastern Europe, right? How long has it been under the dominion of the non-pagan gods? It's been under the dominion for 2,000 years. I mean, it's literally, and by the way, it's going to be under the dominion for 1,000 more years. Christianity is the white man's religion, whether you like it or not. And it has been, yeah, it has been for a long time. And the pagan Nordic religions are dead. They don't pass muster. And why would you want them to? Why would you want people to go back and worship Loki, turned into a horse and fucked another horse, Jeff, and turned into a trans person in order to have sex with men? Why would you want them to go worship those gods? How's that helpful to the white race?
First of all, as I have a minor degree in anthropology, and human culture with the ability, the sophistication to support religious thought, it's been around for about 50,000 years, give or take. Christianity at best has been around for 2,000 years. So for 48,000 years, heathens built great civilizations, built great culture, gave great literature, gave great medicine, gave great moral thoughts and doctrines.
Which ones?
Well, but there were smart people before.
No, here's the thing. Here's the actual truth. And Mr. Anthropologist
interrupted me.
Mr. Anthropologist,
you did interrupt.
All right, go ahead, finish, Jeff. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
Now I forgot what I was saying.
Well, he lost his train of thought. You were talking about.
You were saying great morals. They gave us great morals, great civilizations. That's where
they
you were
probably
going.
had some okay morals. I mean, there's
here's the actual truth. In
can I finish my statement?
Okay, go ahead.
And Rome ruled the entire world for over 1,000 years, and we had Pax Romana, a peaceful world. It wasn't until Christianity reared its ugly head in the Roman Empire, and then the Roman army marched out and systematically, ethnically cleansed and genocided every single pagan population with the Roman short sword. Either you convert or you die. What a religion. You got to threaten people with death to get them. And listen, when I started my work 15 years ago, over 70% of people in America said that they were Christian. Now, less than 50 do. I won't take credit for all of it, but I'm taking credit for some of it. Now, 40% of them are these radical Christian nationalists, radical Christian identityists. And if you think pagans are gone, baby, and you want to battle with us, you better be careful what you ask for.
Okay, well, I'm asking for it, Jeff, so let's get into this. So first of all, when you're talking about paganism, paganism was so great. The people were crucifying everybody. Oh, they were fantastic. They would murder children. They didn't give a shit, Jeff. They didn't care. It's in their literature. When you're talking about Rome had upheaval after upheaval after upheaval all the time. It was inconsistent upheaval like most of the ancient world. Also, as an anthropologist, you should know, written history only started about 10,000 years ago. We don't really have anything from before that. We have light anthropological evidence of some civilizations. We don't even know how advanced they were. We have no clue, right? Written history didn't even start until 10,000 years ago. Most of the civilizations from pagans, we don't even know what they believed, Jeff. Why don't you tell people that? How it is that we didn't really even know. Like 10,000 years ago, you don't even know what people were worshiping. You have no clue. And especially depending on region and demographic, you especially have no clue. So what happens here is that the few remnants which have remained after the burning of the library at Alexandria, there's not that much. Okay, there's not that much. No, not by Christians. Yes, okay, so listen, after the burning of the library at Alexandria, there's not much. Okay, there was not much left as far as the barbarian records. Now, we don't even know how much was actually, we don't even know how much was actually there. This is all speculation. So, like, for instance, if I asked you, what did they worship in ancient China 9,500 years ago in, the Sun Providence? You couldn't tell me that shit because we don't know, Jeff.
I don't care. I'm not from there. But it's funny that the Library of Alexandria contained all of the great records of all of the great pagan civilizations. And right after they freaking killed Hypatia like a bunch of animals, then they went and burned down the library. What a coincidence. They burned down the library of all our stuff. And now you say we're not around anymore because you killed us. And those atrocities you talk about, they were written by Christian people about our people. And they're not only lies, but damn lies.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff. So the thing is like, this is great speculation. but you don't have the requisite knowledge to make these bold claims about which gods people should even go back to, because we don't really know that much. In fact, the Bible is one of the better sources for how pagans used to worship. That's a pretty good source for that. You know what's
So
not
our
great?
enemies give a good
You know
source.
it's not. Well, it's better. What are your sources, Jeff? Like ancient fragments that you're speculating
Well, we
on?
have,
Like the oldest thing you can,
pyramids.
the oldest thing you
I'm not
have.
trying to
We don't
argue.
even know what the pyramids were. We don't even know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, Andrew, I think we can agree that they weren't as dumb. Like, modern day, they want to say the civilizations before us were just idiots and, lived out in a cave. I think they were a little more advanced than we give them credit
Well,
for.
Andrew just asked me, how do I know?
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, here's the big difference between me and you, Andrew, I think. You believe in revelatory knowledge, church tradition of the fathers. Why you call people father when Jesus said, don't call anybody on earth your father. But we don't believe in revelational knowledge. We believe our gods are way bigger than a book. We don't listen to men in dresses to tell us what to believe. We look into our own hearts. We look into our own souls. We listen for the call of the blood. And we get our gods.
You listen to the call of the blood, Jeff?
Okay, well, let him finish. Andrew, let him finish.
Your gods, because you listen to the call of the blood.
You see what he does?
Hey,
he won't let me finish because he knows I'm laying down.
No, finish, bro. Finish.
Mocking him, Andrew.
Okay, that was really funny, though. The call of the blood was funny.
He's got style and pizzazz, and we're only so lucky that he has
okay,
style.
I just thought that was funny. Go ahead, Jeff.
You have to go to the pages of a dusty book written by 66 people that happen to be Jewish, by the way. You have to listen.
That is true, though. It was written by Jewish people, but go ahead.
You have to listen to men in dresses. We go straight to the source. That's
which is the call of the blood. What is the call of the blood, Jeff?
Well, if you ever felt it, brother, you'd know it.
That doesn't answer my question. What is it?
Also,
what's the Holy Ghost?
I've been answering your questions.
I'll be glad to help. I'll be glad to.
In fact, yeah, I've been answering them.
Well, the Bible does, even though it's a, I kind of agree with the Orthodox that lay people shouldn't read the Bible, that you should have a little bit of knowledge before you start reading it, because the Bible is very, very tricky. It's actually a book that's full of disclosure that tells us what they're doing to us. And once you get to a place of maturity, you can read it. So here's what it is. You know how the Bible says the life is in the blood? That's kind of what the call of the blood is. It's about you knowing that you've been communicated with by the Most High. You've been communicated with by a deity. And so we Revelation. Know. Will you please let me finish?
It's just revelation, right?
No, it's not revelation. It's the opposite of revelation. It's realization. It's our gods and the Most High God talking to us individually. And it's the call of the blood. It's like, what's chocolate? Well, you don't know it until you taste it, Andrew. And that's the call of the blood. You knowing that divinity has talked to you, and you don't have to go through any priest. You don't have to ask Mary. You just go straight to the source.
It's really weird, Jeff. It sounds a lot like divine revelation that you're just calling something about the blood. Oh, my blood lets me communicate. It's a DNA sequence in my body that allows God to beam direct thoughts into my brain. I communicate with him. Oh, gee, Jeff, like divine revelation, Jeff? Really? That's what. So hang on. Here's the thing. That's fair. We could just say that Jeff has his own version of pagan divine revelation. If that's the case, though, how in the world can you ever negate anybody else's divine revelation when they say God has spoken to them? And the God that has spoken to them is the Almighty God, the same one that the Jews worship and that Jesus Christ is. If they make that claim, how can you refute it except if they say that's the call in their blood? Like, how can you refute that?
No,
It's the same as when he debated Diddley Donger, and he was like, well, it's just my personal preference. It's the same type of argument.
Answer it briefly, but I got more to say, so don't jump in.
All right.
That's a great question. Why, number one, why do you feel the need to mock my faith? Number two, why would I feel the need to question anybody else's faith? See, that it wasn't until Christianity came along where this thing of proselytizing started and my God's better than your God. I don't care who people worship. I don't care about their religion. It's just like homosexuality. If you're gay and you're gay inside your house, I don't mind. It's bad for civilization. It doesn't help us procreate. But I'm not going to make a law against gay people. But if you're walking down Main Street with assless chaps and a hard-on in front of children, then I have a problem with it. So we don't care about other people's gods. We would coexist with the Christians if we could, but we can't because you want to kill us because we don't believe in your God.
Yeah, there's a problem, though. You have a huge problem with this. So
What's
if the idea is, Jeff says, yeah, we believe in divine revelation just like you, the call of
No,
blood.
I didn't say that.
Okay, just for the sake of argument, you said even if it were the case, right, that I don't care what anybody's religion is. It's a great question, Andrew, that you're asking about divine revelation here. Here's the thing, whatever the call of the blood is, I'll call it divine revelation for the sake of the argument here.
Okay.
Divine
fair.
revelation from into Jeff's brain, from whatever Jeff's God is. He says that's fine. All right, it's the Christians who want to oppress the other religions, and otherwise we would just have like this live and let live, bruh.
Thank you for stating that. Very well stated.
But you have a problem here with that, Jeff, which is that all of society is downstream of ethics, and ethics is informed by religion. So religion informs society, society informs the political class, meaning that the ethical framework of which your society operates based around your religion is going to be a determining factor, which means it makes it people's business. It makes it our business and your business if there's Muslim terrorists, Jeff. It makes it your business if there's AIPAC who's trying to influence through their religious dogma our politicians, Jeff. Absolutely. It is our business. Now, Christian ethics, I'm going to argue, is a fine and far superior form of ethical framework than any other which exists on planet Earth, and that you in modernity have stolen it and apply it in a way that it should never be applied to pagan ethics. It doesn't even make sense. Pagans did blood sacrifice all the time.
No,
they did all. Yeah, they did. No. In fact, they did it with bones. They did it with all sorts of different things. And the historic record has great.
You guys chop up and send to your churches?
No, we never did bones. We never. No, Jews didn't sacrifice the bones.
Your churches don't have bone relics.
They didn't. No, bone relics is different than sacrifice. Pay attention. Really? Talking about sacrifice here. No. The Jews didn't sacrifice the bones. The pagans did. Okay, they sacrificed the bones. They burned the bones to their gods. Yes, that's what they were talking about. Levitical law.
If we could just do a biblical based thing, I can show you where the Jews sacrifice. And I agree with you, Andrew. But the problem here is that Christians won't just live and let live. I got invited to speak at a America First rally. Stu Peters was there. I spoke, and then Stu Peters gets up on the platform. There's about 400 people there. About 50 of us weren't Christians. If you don't believe in Jesus, you can go straight to hell. I tried to work with Christians, but if we don't worship Jesus, you don't work with us. And if we tried to go into battle with you, you'd shoot us in the back. That's
true. And I'm gonna give you some leeway here, but let me explain why that's true. Okay. And I think you're gonna have to agree with me here. We have different sets of ethical frameworks.
I wish you could convert me, and then I could get back to
making we have a different set of ethical frameworks. Okay, I'll give you the same argument I gave to Adam Green. Okay, and I want an actual answer to it. Green couldn't give me one. Perhaps you can.
I will.
Let us pretend for a moment that the society and Christian ethics disappeared. What ethical framework would you put in place in lieu of Christianity, which would be superior? What?
Andrew, are you saying that before Christianity came, there was no ethics?
I'm asking you a question.
I'm saying if Christianity died out tomorrow, we'd just go back to what we did. I say for 48,000 years before Christianity showed up.
Please repeat my question.
Again, you cut me off. We can either
Please repeat my question. You're not answering my question. My question was, if Christian ethics disappeared, then answer it.
Let me.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
if Christianity disappeared tomorrow, we could simply go back to the beautiful, powerful, high ethics that we had before Christianity ever existed.
What were they?
What do you mean, what were they?
Well, yes, I have. This is what I'm saying. So the ethical framework Jeff would use for all of Western society to replace Christian ethics would be the ethical framework of blank. What?
It would be the ethical framework. I call it loosely the ethical framework of the deist.
What?
And like the Bible,
Well,
again,
Andrew, I'm not even trying to take Jeff's side, but I think we could all agree that society would have some sort of ethical norms that people would agree to, right? I mean,
Yeah, but we're talking about the
like we did
superiority.
you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't murder.
Let me get.
Those are all from Christian ethics, though. So if Christianity were to die tomorrow, what would stop us from adhering to these things, or continue, or even if our generation continues to keep up with this Christian ethics, even though it dies out tomorrow? Well, what about the next generation and the generation after that? Like, we just take for granted that we just know these things, but we don't.
You should understand the track here. So the idea here is Jeff's upset. He says we can't work with Christians; they'll shoot us in the back. I agree with Jeff. We will, right? In a second, right? But my counterclaim is because we have different normative ethical frameworks. The reason we do is because Christian ethics, I believe we can make a case as superior to all other ethical systems on planet Earth right now. All of them.
I disagree.
Every single one of them, including Jeff's own ethical frameworks, which I guarantee you follow a lot more closely with Christian ethics than they do with any pagan ethical framework in existence today. I guarantee it. So the thing is like, this is what the crux of this argument now is Jeff, if Christian ethics is going to get replaced, you want to replace it with deism. But under deism, things like abortion are fine. Under deism, things like this there's nothing wrong with it. Eugenics is fine. All of those things are fine under deism. All of them.
Your fallacy is that you want to state that there was no ethics before Christianity.
No,
I say that's nonsense.
I never said that, Jeff.
Well, you just said, and in fact, most of the ethics that you call Christian ethics were stolen from our people, just like your holidays. We had a beautiful society that basically, and you asked me this question, I tried to answer, but you cut me off. It would be going back to the place where we all lived under our fig tree, did what was right in our own eyes, and left each other the hell alone. We might trade with each other every now and then. If you guys start coming over and stealing our women and raping our cattle, we might have to have a little discussion, but everybody take care of their own business. Everybody leave each other alone, and everybody just get along. It's just that simple. And that's not Christian. That's not pagan. That's just human.
Yeah. So the thing is like you very non-skillfully avoided answering to the actual question. So let me try this again.
Try not cutting me off 6 times. And
I didn't cut you off. I let you go through the whole thing. I didn't say a word. So the thing is like I just wanted, because you weren't answering and you still didn't. So what I'm asking you is this. There should be, if you were going, because you made some pretty bold statements here. First, you said I was making a fallacy, and the fallacy is I pretend there's no ethics before Christian ethics. Not only is that not true, I'm claiming right now, of course there are. Of course, there's tons of different ethical traditions which you can appeal to. Tons and tons of ethical traditions you can appeal to. An innumerable amount, perhaps. Okay. From Native Americans to Aboriginals to whoever the fuck you want to point to for whatever their ethical traditions are, whatever their ethical statements are, you can appeal to any of them that you want. I'm just asking you, which one is superior for the Western world over Christian ethics and why?
I think it'd be easier.
That's not really on the topic, but if you want to just answer real quick, and then we're going to get into chats here. So if you want to answer that, and then we can kind of move on.
I think I answered it. We would just go back to doing what we did before Christians ethnically cleansed and genocided us. Everything was just fine. We had a beautiful, peaceful world for the most part. And these things that he says about pagans did this, pagans did that, these are Christian writers talking about us. And of course, they're not going to be fair. So it's very simple. We return to the ethics that we had before Christianity. I'm sorry if you can't wrap your mind around that, Andrew. Maybe that's too big of a concept because there's not a book telling you what to do. But that's the way that people that want to live divine, sovereign, and free think.
Yeah, there would be a book telling you what to do. It would be a book of laws, and those laws would be based on whatever these ethics were. There would definitely be books telling you what to do. Jeff,
you know what I meant about a book.
And two, just so you understand. No, I don't. And
the Bible.
Just so you understand, your whatever this ethical system is, you still haven't explained how it would be superior to Christian ethics. That's what I'm looking for.
What's that's opinion, Andrew? In my opinion, it would be superior. In your opinion, it won't.
Yeah, why?
That's fine.
Yeah, but why would it be? Why would it be, in Jeff's opinion, superior? Why?
Because I wouldn't have somebody telling me what I had to do, when I had to do, where I had to do, who I had to worship, that I had to eat somebody's flesh and drink somebody's blood, or I had no life.
So you know what these atheists always sound like to me the more that I watch these debates? You know what it sounds like? It just sounds like, I don't want to be told what to do. It sounds like a spoiled child that doesn't want to be told what to do by their parents. Like, oh man, I'm sick that I have to clean my room. I'm sick that I have to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I don't like the fact that I can't eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't like the fact that I have to do my homework. I don't like the fact that I have to do what my parents say. That seems to always be the common underlying thing. It just sounds like spoiled children who just don't want to live to any sort of standards except the standards that they set for themselves. They always talk about how Christianity is oppressive, it's this and it's that, and how Christianity is awful. But modern day Christianity, as it is right now, isn't oppressing anybody. And just because there are standards that we're trying to have people live up to, it's not oppression. And if we don't follow the Bible standards, we're going to just be following someone else's standards. And those standards are just going to be worse than what the Bible and Christianity has to teach.
Yes, you would, Jeff. You would have a lawmaker. You would have a lawmaker, and the lawmaker would give you laws. Those laws would be informed by the ethical framework of the deities that you worshipped. And if you went counter to those deities, you didn't do the sacrifice in the right way, you didn't do the right religious sacraments to whatever this deity was, like Paul talked about constantly, you could possibly be killed or punitively punished or any number of different things. This idea that you have that, oh, I could have a deity. Okay, we could have a whole deity set, which our ethics are informed from, some pagan gods or something like this. And if that's widespread in society, now there's no normative rules of any kind that comes from those deities is fucking insane. No culture ever in history has had that, ever. Their lawmakers always are informed by the deities that they worship and the ethics of the deities that they worship. Period.
You know what? It probably the basic disagreement we have here is that I believe that humans are born inherently divine, sovereign, and free. We don't have original sin. We got the spark of divine within. And I guess I have a whole lot more belief and confidence in humanity to bind together and do what's right and stand against the few retards that want to wreck everything than you do.
Well, hang on, Jeff. Just so you know, the Eastern Orthodox, we don't believe in original sin.
I understand that, but most Christians do.
We don't. That's not what we believe. Okay, so you're attacking something that's not even within the purview.
Why
of my
do you have to take it on you? I was talking in general
because
terms.
you're debating with me.
You asked.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You're debating him.
You asked.
All right. Well, let's get to these chats now.
Yeah, so I've been fascinated with these Andrew Wilson debating Christianity against atheists or whatever. I'm assuming this guy's an atheist. I don't know what he is. He's call of the blood. I don't know what he believes in. It's the call of the blood. But it's all the similar arguments that I've been watching. There's another debate with Andrew Wilson that I want to cover where he's arguing Christianity versus secularism, which is better. And it's the same type of arguments where it's like, Christianity is just too oppressive. We should just be able to leave it up to us, whatever we feel is right. And it's like, okay, well, what moral framework? Like, what's stopping one person from believing this is right and another person from stopping that is right? And what do you get when you guys conflict? Well, we appeal to the majority. Okay, well, what if the majority chooses the wrong thing? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's this guy. It doesn't matter if it's Diddley Donger. It pretty much boils down to we should just put what we want to do first and what we feel is right, our preferences, and screw a higher power. Because living up to what we feel is right is a heck of a lot easier than living up to a higher power's standard. And that's where I think a lot of this is coming from. That's what it seems like it boils down to me. When you see these people making the similar type of arguments, and it seems to be coming from a similar place, you start to see a pattern, and you start to see what's really going on here. The problem isn't Christianity. The problem isn't Christians. It all boils down to the secularists, the atheists, and what have you, and their personal gripes with Christianity. Them just not like being told what to do and how to live. Even if we don't live under Christian ethics, we're just going to be living under someone else's ethics. And as Andrew pointed out, there has one yet that has been proven to be superior than Christian ethics. I thought Andrew Wilson did great here as usual. What did you guys think about this debate? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel. You'll be really helping me out a lot. And if you like seeing Andrew Wilson debates, I got a whole playlist for you to binge on, as well as a ton more videos on my channel that I think you'll enjoy.